involved in the Roswell crash, extraterrestrials that were definitely not human.
We had in our possession a flying saucer.
First I thought it was a child. The head was different, the arms were spindly, the body was gray.
Scientists and private contractors with serious credibility, claiming to be eyewitnesses to alien beings and spacecraft.
One of the CIA men told the people they were now sworn to secrecy, and he says, no, we don't tell the public about this. It would panic the public.
Has this knowledge been continually suppressed in a conspiracy to hide it from the public?
What you see is a pattern of secrecy, cover-up, conspiracy to keep us from knowing that there are extraterrestrials visiting this planet right now.
Everything that you've been told about UFOs is actually for real.
Finally, the truth is revealed.
These statements are true and willing to testify under oath before Congress, and I will testify to this under oath.
I'm prepared to go to Congress, to swear before Congress that everything I've told you people and everything that is here is the truth. Thank you.
New information is transforming what people believe about extraterrestrial spacecraft. Are UFOs really visiting our world? Is the government hiding the truth? And if so, did some of the brightest minds of the 20th century reveal an alien truth in their deathbed confessions? July 7th, 2003, 11:18 p.m. A NASA Delta II launch vehicle blasts off from Cape Canaveral, Florida. On board is an exploration rover named Opportunity. Destination, Mars.
When NASA launched the Opportunity rover, it was an extension of their long vision to understand everything they can about Mars. Mars could help science unravel the mystery of life in the universe. Could life have started on Mars at one time? Could life be there to this day? No one really knows.
6 months after launch, on January 20th, 2004, Opportunity successfully lands in a level plane near the Mars equator. Immediately, the rover gets to work. According to NASA, the rover's mission is to gather scientific information in search of any traces of water.
NASA follows this idea of we should follow the water. That's because all life that we know of on Earth needs water in its liquid form to exist. So when we go to other places, we want to find places with water.
But UFO researchers believe the rover has a hidden mission: to search for signs of life that NASA knows already exists.
I think that all of the missions to Mars that have been undertaken to date by NASA are totally controlled by U.S. national security protocols. So that if they were to find something that is unusual or interesting, there's no way, I think, that they're going to report that to the rest of the world.
NASA knows a lot more about Mars than they're letting on. I think they know that there's an advanced civilization that once flourished on the planet Mars that is no longer there. That's what all these missions are for.
Originally, NASA scientists anticipated a brief mission for the rover. It was not expected to last long due to the harsh landscape and Mars' famous dust storms that often blanket the size of a continent and even the entire planet for weeks at a time. But strangely, as of January 2016, the Opportunity rover is still going strong, a fact that baffles most independent experts.
A fascinating thing about the Mars Opportunity rover is that originally they thought it would last about 3 months. Well, 12 years later, it's still running.
It is virtually impossible for something that's designed to last a few months to last 12 years on the surface of another planet. That just doesn't happen. So something very interesting is going on with the Opportunity rover.
The mystery of Opportunity's longevity can be seen in before and after pictures that show the rover caked in dust on one hand, but just 2 months later, looking clean and shiny.
On the Martian surface, you have pictures that have come back that show that that rover is going through quite a bit. Then it might release a picture and it's clean. It looks like it's been cleaned off. There's really kind of no explanation.
NASA scientists claim that electrostatic charged particles in Martian dust storms helped clean the rover.
And some people in the UFO community say, well, hey, maybe this is evidence that there's kind of electromagnetic charge in Mars' atmosphere, and that perhaps somehow this is keeping the Mars Opportunity rover going. These people even claim that this is evidence that at one point Mars was perhaps a base for extraterrestrials, that there was technology there, that this was perhaps a stopping off point on the journey to Earth.
UFO researchers have even gone so far as to raise the question of whether or not the rover has been secretly outfitted with ultra-advanced technology from an unknown source, possibly one from a distant world.
If we hypothesize, as I do, that parts of the black budget world are reverse engineering ET technology, and NASA's now doing their missions to Mars, what does that mean? Does that mean that NASA is somehow using alien technology in the rover mission to extend the life of that beyond what it was supposed to last? Totally possible.
UFO experts believe NASA's rover is drawing energy not only from the sun, but also from another, more abundant, unseen source, from the red planet itself. And as proof, they point to a wireless planetary energy system built in 1904 by one of the greatest minds of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Nikola Tesla.
Tesla had great ideas. They were all revolutionary, and I think had we pursued his vision for physics and science and electromagnetism, we'd be in a completely different place in our society and our culture today.
Tesla's work has impacted on all of science. He was a revolutionary. His work in electricity was absolutely fundamental to everything we do with electronics nowadays.
Born in Serbia in 1856, Nikola Tesla was an American inventor, electrical engineer, and physicist, perhaps best known for designing the modern alternating current, or AC, electrical system. But Tesla was also famous for conceiving another groundbreaking electrical power source he called the World Energy System.
One of Tesla's big ideas was pulling energy out of the atmosphere and using it to power things. And some people say that's exactly what happened with the Mars Opportunity rover. That somehow these solar panels were able to draw electrostatic charge from Mars and use it to power the rover in such a way that it didn't stop after 3 months, as had been predicted. So is there a connection here? Is it the same technology that Tesla was talking about all those years ago?
He was really brilliant with all the ideas he had about wireless electricity and how we could transmit energy from one place to another without any sort of intervening medium and any loss of electrical power or potential.
Could the rover's durability and longevity be based on technology Tesla developed well over a century ago? And if so, could this have something to do with the fact that when Tesla died at the age of 86 in his New York City apartment, his work was immediately confiscated by the U.S. government?
When Tesla died, the government confiscated all of his papers. That should tell you everything you need to know about how brilliant and innovative Tesla's ideas were.
The FBI ransacked his place, scarfing up all the papers that were there. Sure they would. You're talking about one of the greatest geniuses who ever lived.
But why would government agencies want Tesla's papers? Did they have reason to believe his brilliance was connected to otherworldly contact, as UFO experts believe?
Some of Tesla's work was apparently taken to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is often associated with UFO stories, and indeed some people claim that whatever was recovered at Roswell ended up at Wright-Patterson before eventually being sent to Area 51, or maybe even Area 52. So again, one can draw some intriguing connections between all of this. You take all these things, Tesla, Roswell, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Area 51, Area 52. You can join the dots and begin maybe to piece together a coherent story.
Could the technology used to sustain the Mars Opportunity rover really have been based on Tesla's world energy system? And if so, where might Nikola Tesla have gained the knowledge of a wireless worldwide energy system over 100 years ago, in 1904? Further clues may be found in Tesla's own words and in the deathbed confessions of other prominent scientists.
Crisp, cold refreshment. It's what Bush is known for. What are you known for?
Oversharing. In fact, I have this thing.
Nope.
Bush. This program is brought to you in part by Polaris Razor. Fuel your freedom.
Whether you work hard or play harder, now is the time to buy a new Polaris. Every ATV and side-by-side in the world's best-selling lineup is priced to move during the Polaris Spring Sales Event. Get started at Polaris.com.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night.
Hold on, Dad. Liberty did what?
Yeah, Liberty Mutual 24-hour roadside assistance helped him to fix his flat so he could get home safely.
My dad says our insurance doesn't have that. Don't worry, I know what a lug wrench is, Dad. Is this a lug wrench?
Maybe. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hit escape with great deals on great gear from Bass Pro Shops. Like ladies' gathered V-neck shirts for under $10. Bass Pro canopy chairs for under $20. And shop hundreds of other great deals only at Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
I've got nothing I need beside me. A smile that makes the world shine brighter. Got a certain kind of way. Got a smile that makes the world shine brighter.
Making every stay a special stay. Holiday Inn, smiles ahead. Whether for big meetings or little getaways, members always save more at holidayinn.com.
They wanted to make Nazis all over the world fear their life.
Everything is like something out of a real vintage thriller.
You have to pay one day for the crime you committed.
Nazi Fugitives. All new series Tuesday, May 9th at 10 on AH.
Now playing exclusively on DirecTV Cinema.
Jack Bronson, I need your help. I need you to guard the princess and future empress.
Excuse me?
You are here. Welcome, Jack.
Get rid of him.
I can't save a princess.
You can save yourself, or you can save her.
Enter The Warrior's Gate, now playing exclusively on DirecTV Cinema.
Boxing's biggest star, the son of a legend.
Chavez has his stance. He tried to hand by Canelo. Knocked on full.
On Saturday, May 6th, the world will be watching to see who becomes Mexico's undisputed boxing king. Canelo versus Chavez Jr., Saturday, May 6th, live on DirecTV pay-per-view.
After the 4 officers were found not guilty, rioters have taken to the streets in South Central LA.
The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC.
UFO investigators are searching for clues to the connections between renowned scientists and UFOs, as well as deathbed confessions and government conspiracy. Questions remain about the Mars rover, named Opportunity, and how it managed to exceed by 12 years its ability to continue functioning in the harsh environment of Mars. For answers, UFO researchers turn to one of the greatest minds of the modern era, Nikola Tesla. many believe Tesla's inventions and discoveries are connected to the rover's astonishing performance and alien technology.
Tesla was a scientist regarded variously as perhaps one of the unsung scientific heroes of all time, as a mad genius, however you characterize him. He's sometimes known as the forgotten hero of electricity, who died in relative obscurity.
After decades of accomplishments, by 1904, Tesla designed and built Wardenclyffe Tower in Shoreham, New York. With this tower, Tesla intended to demonstrate the potential of a wireless electrical transmission system for worldwide use. His plan was to tap into the immense renewable reservoir of electrical power that he claimed sits dormant in Earth's atmosphere.
Tesla believed that there was electrostatic potential in the Earth's atmosphere that could be tapped. He believed that there was power that could be drawn from the atmosphere that could give us, if not free energy, then certainly extremely cheap and clean energy. It almost looks now as if he was talking about wireless technology, tapping energy out of the ether, powering devices just from seemingly out of thin air. These are the sort of things he was talking about.
Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower was tested several times during construction, and the results were encouraging. But the project soon devoured Tesla's personal savings. And even though General Electric and Westinghouse greatly benefited from his early inventions, they declined interest in the project. Within the year, Wardenclyffe was abandoned. Still, could there be a direct connection between Tesla's research into planetary energy and the Mars Opportunity rover, believed by UFO investigators to have captured electrical power straight from the red planet's atmosphere? And if so, where could Nikola Tesla have learned about such advanced energy concepts?
He sometimes discussed his method of working, and he said he received what he called flashes of inspiration, and he was a little bit cryptic about where that inspiration came from. But some of his remarks almost imply that he was in contact with other worlds, that somehow through telepathy or through some other means, he had received greetings from other planets.
He talked about his belief that he was guided telepathically or in some way by other intelligences. And this became a firm belief of his as his years went by. Who am I to say that Nikola Tesla did not have a communication with extraterrestrials when he himself believed it?
Tesla claims to have been in communication with extraterrestrial entities, with beings from Mars. It's entirely possible he was telling the truth. And I think that given his path and his ideas of thinking, the way he thought, it's entirely possible that he was influenced by outside forces, yeah.
Could this mean, as UFO experts contend, that some of Tesla's work originated in extraterrestrial contact? Investigators believe the answer can be found in Tesla's papers, confiscated by government authorities.
Some of Tesla's documents discussed his work being done at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, Wright-Patterson is often associated with the Roswell crash. It's claimed that that's where the wreckage was taken for a time. Does this mean that Tesla was working with elements of the government on alien technology? Was Tesla part of a program to back-engineer this extraterrestrial technology? The closer we look, the more you think, well, maybe there's something to this.
Does the evidence suggest that Tesla helped the government and NASA develop technology originating from otherworldly sources, as UFO investigators suggest?
There are theories that some of Tesla's ideas and concepts were actually adopted by NASA to help develop technology for the space program. The Opportunity rover, which is still going 12 years later, which was supposed to last only really a few months, and you got to ask yourself, how is it generating power after all this time? Is it pulling electricity from the atmosphere itself? There's all kinds of very exotic ideas that Tesla had that could have been incorporated into the solar cells, into the electrical systems of the Opportunity rover.
Supporting the theory that the government and NASA have spent decades conspiring to develop extraterrestrial technology are the testimonies of prominent military officials and aerospace engineers who shared their personal knowledge of UFOs and alien capabilities as they neared the end of their lives.
There are people who've had very sensitive clearances, for example, and have been exposed to sensitive information about the UFO phenomenon. And some of them have given what we would call a deathbed confession at the end of their life. They tell it all.
One such deathbed confession was given by Walter Haut, a former Air Force public relations officer.
Walter Haut was the press officer at Roswell Army Airfield who wrote the original press release that the media picked up about the fact that they captured a flying saucer.
Seen here for the first time on national television is Walter Haut's video, recorded by the Disclosure Project, a UFO research group, as he speaks about the 1947 Roswell press release.
Story that I put out was given to me almost verbatim by Colonel Blanchard, to the effect that we had in our possession a flying saucer. It was found on a ranch up north of Roswell, and he said, I want you to give it to the local newspapers and radio stations and do it post-haste.
Strangely, the very next day, the military retracted the statement.
They said, no, we don't have a flying disc, we don't have a flying saucer, this is not alien, it's a weather balloon. And Walter Haut, on his deathbed confession, said that he did not believe that that press release was legitimate. He believed that the original intention was to essentially cover up a second crash approximately 30 miles away.
I think that there was lots and lots of cover-up. I can't verify that.
In addition to his video confession, Walter Haut also signed a sealed affidavit in 2002. It was revealed to the public only after his death in 2005.
He wrote that he sat at a table where they brought in much of the debris that had fallen at Roswell, that he was able to touch the material, that he was able to essentially crumple the pieces of metal in his hand. It would essentially go back to its original form. This was not technology that was man-made, according to Walter Haut.
His deathbed testimony was that yes, the rumors were true. There were indeed entities involved in that crash. He described seeing these entities which had apparently been killed as a result of the crash, and he described them as being small, almost childlike in size. Now this is interesting because it ties in with testimony from the local mortician at the time, Glenn Dennis, who claimed that the mortuary was contacted by the base at Roswell and they were asked to supply a number of child-sized coffins. It was indeed, as people had claimed all along, the crash of an extraterrestrial spacecraft.
Deathbed testimony from high-ranking military personnel like Walter Haut continued to fuel conspiracy theories and raise questions about the existence of UFOs. And the list of those coming forward with still more stunning claims about UFOs and extraterrestrial contact continues to grow.
When you see beautiful design, do beautiful work, you see what Delta can do.
Heroes Weekend is brought to you by Firestone. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
With long-lasting Firestone Champion tires, is there really such a thing as a wrong turn?
Map says straight.
Let's go left.
Look at that thing! That's not wrong. Not wrong. And that ain't wrong either. New Firestone Champion tires with our longest limited tread wear warranty ever for 70,000 miles of no wrong turns. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Someday, Daddy, I want to get married right here in our backyard.
When you're close to the people you love, does psoriasis ever get in the way of a touching moment? If
If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, you can embrace the chance of completely clear skin with Taltz. Taltz is proven to give you a chance at completely clear skin. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients had a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. In fact, 4 out of 10 even achieved completely clear skin. Do not use if you are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, you should be checked for tuberculosis. Taltz may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you are being treated for an infection or have symptoms, or if you have received a vaccine or plan to. Inflammatory bowel disease can happen with Taltz, including worsening of symptoms. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Now's your chance at completely clear skin. Just ask your doctor about Taltz.
I've got everything I need inside me. You've got a smile that makes the world shine brighter.
Whether for big meetings or little getaways, there are always smiles ahead at Holiday Inn.
Wherever you are in the world, we will come and get you.
They wanted to make Nazis all over the world fear their life.
Are we going to kidnap him, or are we going to do something quite different? And the most horrendous fight takes place. Everything is like something out of a real vintage thriller.
You have to pay one day for the crimes you committed.
Nazi Fugitives. All new series Tuesday, May 9th at 10 on AHC.
After the 4 officers were found not guilty, rioters have taken to the streets in south central LA.
The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC.
You're watching American Heroes Channel, home of the brave.
AHC and People Magazine honor everyday heroes with the Red Bandana Hero Award.
Chris Beatty is the very deserving recipient of the award here tonight.
Timber K9's mission is we rescue and take donated dogs and we train them to be service dogs for wounded service members.
Nominate the hero in your life for the Red Bandana Hero Award. Honor their heroism and AHC will donate $10,000 to the winner's charity of choice. Go to ahctv.com/redbandana to nominate your hero today.
For decades, the U.S. government has shown a fierce commitment to keeping from the public what UFO researchers claim is smoking gun evidence of extraterrestrial visitation.
It's not simply that we're dealing with an inherently mysterious phenomenon, which we are. We are also dealing with U.S. government and military obfuscation and secrecy, and that's just the fact.
United States top-secret security clearances are designed to be ironclad. The unlawful disclosure of such classified information is punishable by steep fines and up to 10 years imprisonment. But when death is imminent due to illness or failing health, some have chosen to breach their security clearances and go public with their knowledge of UFOs. One such story involves Ben Rich, a renowned engineer and former senior director at Lockheed Martin. Known as the father of the stealth fighter and bomber, Ben Rich was also head of the legendary Skunk Works, Lockheed Martin's secret research and development program.
During the last decade of Ben Rich's life, he made a number of public statements about UFOs. And we have to remember, Ben Rich was one of the most prominent individuals in the aerospace community in existence. In 1993, Ben Rich gave a lecture at the UCLA School of Engineering for the alumni there. It was a basic history of the stealth fighter and so forth, and then he ended it with this statement: "We now have the technology to take ET home."
There are a number of people who've said Ben Rich knew much more about UFOs and aliens than he ever let on. He also once apparently said, "We have the technology to travel to the stars." Ben Rich was also reported to have said, "There are UFOs that we make, and there are UFOs that they make." Rich apparently used the phrase hand-me-downs, talking about things like stealth and drones as being hand-me-downs, presumably from extraterrestrial craft.
Was Ben Rich claiming that our most advanced aerospace and military technologies, many he himself helped develop, were originally engineered by extraterrestrials?
His work also has played into the space shuttle program, the drone program, unmanned aerial vehicles. There's a real track record here of somebody who has been involved with almost every highly advanced aerospace and space program we've had.
Adding to the list of high-profile confessions is Lieutenant Colonel Philip Corso, who was once a part of the U.S. national security state. A decorated veteran who served in the Eisenhower White House, Corso's eyewitness accounts shocked the UFO research community.
I would hazard to guess that Philip J. Corso's probably the single most controversial UFO witness / whistleblower that we've had. This is a man who had a legitimate, genuine military career, and a good one. He was a colonel. Toward the end of his life, in 1997, he published a book called The Day After Roswell.
In the book, and in a video recorded by the Disclosure Project, Corso speaks about an extraordinary event he experienced in 1947 while working as the on-duty officer at Fort Riley, Kansas, where he claims to have seen a lifeless alien body just a few days after the reported Roswell UFO crash.
There were 5 trucks coming through here from an airfield in New Mexico, and they're heading for Wright-Patterson Air Force. They told me to be careful to watch this area because you have a sense of something sensitive here. He said, "You want to see it, sir?" I told him, "Yeah, let's go look." First I thought it was a child because it was small. Then I looked at this head and all. And this was only happening in a matter of seconds. Then I put the end back down, and the head was different, the arms were spindly, the body it was gray. So right at that moment I figured, I don't know what this thing is.
In 1961, Corso became chief of the Pentagon's Foreign Technology Desk in Army Research and Development.
When I came to Research and Development, I inherited reports, autopsy reports from Walter Reed Hospital. Now, Walter Reed, there was a laboratory there, which was our laboratory, and we financed. That's who did the autopsies for us.
According to Corso, the autopsies detailed in the reports were of the alien bodies recovered at Roswell.
When I saw the body, there was nothing else to go on. Later on, I got the autopsy reports that experts had done, our own experts, and they cut it open all, the brain and all, and the brain was different, and most of the body was different, but no nose, no mouth, no ears, no vocal cords, no digestive system, no sex organs. So just kept it to ourselves. Only certain people know about it, head to head, brain to brain, no paper trail.
In his book, the former Pentagon official also reveals what his position at the Foreign Technologies Desk actually entailed.
Colonel Corso said it was his job to slowly disperse into the private sector, to big corporations, some of the alien technology that had been acquired over the years, starting at Roswell, 1947, but going on to his day. The result of all this was the integrated circuit chip, fiber optics, night vision goggles, lasers, Kevlar body armor. Now, Corso headed up this foreign technology desk, but in this context, Corso said foreign meant extraterrestrial.
Philip Corso also wrote about turning over alien technology to a top-secret, private sector, global entity.
Taking this technology outside of government, putting it in the private sector, does a couple of things. Firstly, it makes congressional oversight more difficult. Secondly, it takes it outside the scope of the Freedom of Information Act. So there's a real, genuine advantage in moving these highly classified projects out of government altogether.
When we gave the information out, we gave it out and insisted they take the patents. But also we put a little bit of a requirement on that. Requirement, feed it back to us. For the competitive edge of the Army,
The theme that runs through an awful lot of these guys that give us these deathbed confessionals, that our help came from somewhere else. In other words, we didn't get to this point of incredibly advanced technology without somebody else intervening and helping us along the way.
For UFO researchers, one question remains. If the government is withholding evidence pointing to otherworldly contact, how long do they plan to conceal the truth?
To think that this lie can last forever is the height of foolishness, in my opinion. It's coming out. We're never going to be ready for the truth of this, but that will never stop it from happening.
Although many regard these so-called confessions as questionable, there was an astonishing event at which gathered for all to see and hear reputable former military and government officials and scientists at a first-ever press conference in Washington, D.C., where explosive claims were raised about secrets and UFOs the government does not want you to know.
After the 4 officers were found not guilty, rioters have taken to the streets in South Central LA.
You're watching aerial footage of the streets of LA on fire. The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC.
Impressive, Linda. It seems age isn't slowing you down. But your immune system weakens as you get older, increasing the risk for me, the shingles virus, especially after 50. I've been lurking inside you since you had chicken pox. I could surface any time as a painful, blistering rash. 1 in 3 people get me in their lifetime, Linda. Will it be you?
And that's why Linda got me. Zostavax, a single-shot vaccine. I'm working to boost Linda's immune system to help protect her against you, shingles. Zostavax is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years of age and older. Zostavax does not protect everyone and cannot be used to treat shingles or the nerve pain that may follow it. You should not get Zostavax if you are allergic to gelatin or neomycin, have a weakened immune system, or take high doses of steroids, are pregnant, or plan to become pregnant. The most common side effects include redness, pain, itching, swelling, hard lump, warmth or bruising at the injection site, and headache. It's important to talk to your doctor about what situations you may need to avoid, since Zostavax contains a weakened chickenpox virus. Remember, 1 in 3 people get shingles in their lifetime. Will it be you? Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about me, single-shot Zostavax. You've got a shot against shingles.
For millions of baby boomers, there's a serious virus out there that's been almost forgotten. It's hepatitis C. 1 in 30 boomers has hep C, yet most don't even know it, because it can hide in your body for years without symptoms, and it's not tested for in routine blood work. The CDC recommends all baby boomers get tested. If you have hep C, it can be cured. For us, it's time to get tested. Ask your healthcare provider for the simple blood test. It's the only way to know for sure.
I've got nothing I need inside me. You got a smile that makes the world shine brighter. You got a certain kind of way. You got a smile that makes the world shine brighter.
Making every stay a special stay. Holiday Inn smiles ahead. Whether for big meetings or little getaways, members always save more at holidayinn.com.
Oh yeah, this is the big one. The kind of job that demands doing it right. 2 cups secret rub, big old brush dripping with sauce, and now the right kind of heat. New Kingsford long burning, burns longer, 25% longer. So instead of stopping to refuel, you can stoke the good times till the sun goes down. New Kingsford long burning, start something.
AHC and People Magazine honor everyday heroes with the Red Bandana Hero Award. Honor their heroism and AHC will donate $10,000 to the winner's charity of choice. Go to ahctv.com/redbandana to nominate your hero.
Hey, what's up? It's Adam Devine. I'm hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards. It's gonna be awesome.
Adam Devine hosts the MTV Movie and TV Awards live Sunday, May 7th at 8 on MTV.
Don't let them do this to you.
They're afraid. They're lying to you.
Once testing starts, there's no going back.
You're not what they say you are.
My name is Morgan Yu. Year is 2035. You have to destroy Talos 1.
Kill them.
Rated M for mature.
It's Adam Devine, and I'm hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards. I'm sorry, that sounded weak.
I'm hosting the MTV Movie.
The MTV Movie and TV Awards live Sunday, May 7th at 8 on MTV.
Wherever you are in the world, we will come and get you.
They wanted to make Nazis all over the world fear their life.
Are we going to kidnap him, or are we going to do something quite different? And the most horrendous fight takes place. Everything is like something out of a real vintage thriller.
You have to pay one day for the crimes you committed.
Nazi Fugitives. All new series Tuesday, May 9th at 10 on AHC.
According to deathbed confessions of highly regarded members of the scientific and military communities, the U.S. government has been concealing for decades its contact and interaction with UFOs. Recently, many more highly credentialed people have also stepped forward. May 2001. A first-of-its-kind press conference is held at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C.
Former government, military, intelligence personnel spoke about knowledge that they'd acquired about UFOs, and in some cases, things that they had seen and experienced themselves.
The National Press Club event is a very important event in the kind of history of the UFO movement.
It was really the first time that such a powerful group of people with such reputations behind them came together in a structured conference and talked about their experiences.
Some of the more potent pieces of testimony were very, very compelling. FAA official John Callahan was one. He talked about deliberate cover-up by the CIA, for example, over UFO data. In one particular case that took place over Alaska in 1986.
My name is John Callahan. I'm a retired FAA employee. I was the division manager for the Accidents Evaluation and Investigation Division in D.C.
Callahan's testimony regarding what came to be known as the Anchorage incident involved a UFO encounter over Alaska with a Japan Airlines jet en route from Paris to Tokyo on November 17, 1986.
I received a call from the Alaska region where the region wanted to know what to tell the media. And I questioned, tell the media what? He says about the UFO. I told him what any government employee would do. Tell him it's under investigation.
The encounter in question had been reported by the JAL flight crew, who said that as many as 3 UFOs, one that appeared to be 4 times the size of the jetliner, had tracked them in very close proximity. Fearing for their safety, the crew requested and were granted an emergency landing in Anchorage, Alaska, where air traffic controllers confirmed the sightings on radar.
The next day, my immediate boss set up a meeting for me to give a dog and pony show to President Reagan's scientific staff and to hand off all that data to them. That morning in the FAA round room, men from Reagan's scientific staff, 3 CIA people, 3 FBI people, along with all the FAA experts. We had all the data there, we had all the printouts. They got all excited over it. When it was all done, one of the CIA men told the people they were now sworn to secrecy, that this meeting never happened, and this event never happened. I said, well, are you going to tell the public about it? And he says, no, we don't tell the public about this. It would panic the public.
All evidence of the Anchorage incident was confiscated, and Callahan was told by government authorities not to speak of it. The event was never disclosed nor discussed by the government again. A retired Air Force radar controller also appeared at the conference.
My name is Michael Smith. While I was assigned to Klamath Falls, Oregon, I arrived at the radar site and they were watching a UFO on a radar that was hovering at about 80,000 feet. It sat there for about 10 minutes and then slowly descended until it dropped off the radar. It was gone for about 5-10 minutes, and then instantly reappeared at 80,000 feet, stationary. The next sweep of the radar, it was 200 miles away, stationary. It hovered there for about 10 minutes and redid the whole cycle twice more.
Officer Smith followed Air Force protocol and reported the sightings to the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD. Once again, the government stepped in to ensure the incident was kept under wraps.
I asked them what I should do about this. They said, nothing, don't write it down. And you keep it to yourself. It's a need-to-know basis only.
One of the most dramatic testimonials came from Officer Dan Willis, who handled top-secret documents for the U.S. Navy.
I worked in the code room at the Naval Communications Station in San Francisco. I held a top-secret crypto level 14 extra-sensitive material handling security clearance. In 1969, I received a priority message from a ship near Alaska that was classified as secret. The ship reported a brightly glowing, reddish-orange, elliptical object, approximately 70 feet in diameter, emerging out of the ocean, shot into space, traveling at about 7,000 miles per hour.
The UFO was tracked on radar, and the sightings corroborated by naval officers on board the ship in Alaska. Willis immediately reported the sightings to his superiors and was told not to discuss it.
One after another of these people got up and told the assembled members of the media, you know, this is not just hoax and misinformation. This is real. We experienced it, and we now want to put our story on the record.
I'm prepared to go to Congress, to swear before Congress that everything I've told you people and everything that is here is the truth.
And I will testify to this under oath. These statements are true. I'm willing to testify under oath before Congress. Thank you.
Are we really to believe that all these professional, distinguished, credentialed individuals with decades of experience across a range of agencies just got up there and lied? Well, I don't think so.
When you understand that all of these people have incredible credibility, they all had access, and they all tell these stories of various different secrets that are being kept by the U.S. government at different levels, at different times and in different ways, what you see is a very consistent pattern of secrecy, cover-up, conspiracy by the U.S. government to keep us from knowing that there are extraterrestrials visiting this planet right now.
As the mainstream press began to research and report on the incredible testimony given at the conference, the public began to take notice. But this dramatic new UFO evidence was soon overshadowed.
Tragically, a few months later, 9/11 happened, and all of this was suddenly no longer news.
What would change for society if evidence that UFOs exist is proven real?
Clearly, we're going to be getting into a lot of questions about how this lie has corroded and infiltrated and damaged the very institutions that we have relied on for truth.
And what might the repercussions be for a government responsible for hiding UFO evidence from the public for so long?
Not only would we be faced with the undeniable reality of extraterrestrial visitation, but governments have known about this for decades, and every single administration has lied and lied and lied about this. And what's this going to do to our confidence in our political systems? Is it going to stretch them, or is it going to break them?
Could the government be hiding evidence proving the existence of UFOs and alien technology in use today? Evidence that could change the world, as UFO investigators claim? And if so, might such a conspiracy cause serious concerns about security? And perhaps even a worldwide threat.
The 4 officers were found not guilty. Rioters have taken to the streets in south central LA.
The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC.
Whether you work hard or play harder, now is the time to buy a new Polaris. Every ATV and side-by-side in the world's best-selling lineup is priced to move during the Polaris Spring Sales Event. Get started at Polaris.com.
Crisp, cold refreshment. It's what Bush is known for. What are you known for?
I'm indecisive. Scratch that. No, that's right. Although...
Bush. Why pause a spontaneous moment? Cialis for daily use treats ED and the urinary symptoms of BPH. Tell your doctor about your medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have a sudden decrease or loss of hearing or vision or an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis.
Hit Escape with great deals on great gear from Bass Pro Shops. And for a limited time, save up to $6,700 on select prior year Arctic Cat side-by-sides. Plus, save up to $5,400 on prior year Arctic Cat ATVs. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
QuickBooks introduces Jeanette and her new mobile wedding business. At first, getting paid was tough until she got QuickBooks. Now she sends invoices, sees when they've been viewed, and ta-da! Paid twice as fast for free. Visit QuickBooks.com.
At Crown Plaza, we know business travel isn't just business. There's this. A bit of this. Why not? Your hotel should make it easy to do all the things you do, which is what we do. Crown Plaza. We're all business. Mostly.
We are navigating pregnant life.
Are you guys going to find out if you're having an LP?
No parent wants to hear that their child is different.
But to me, that's not different. He's just like me.
Little People, Big World returns Tuesday at 9 on TLC.
Here you go, little guy. A cockroach can survive submerged underwater for 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Not getting in today. Not on my watch. Pests never stop trying to get in. At Terminix, we never stop working to keep them out. That's what makes us America's leading pest and termite control provider, because we do whatever it takes to stop them in their tracks. For a free pest estimate, call 1-800-772-1983. Take action to protect your home today. And if pests ever do come back, so will we. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. For a free pest estimate, call 1-800-772-1983 or visit Terminix.com. Terminix, Defenders of Home.
AHC and People Magazine honor everyday heroes with the Red Bandana Hero Award. Chris Beatty is the very deserving recipient of the award here tonight.
Timber K9's mission is we rescue and take donated dogs and we train them to be service dogs for wounded service members.
Nominate the hero in your life for the Red Bandana Hero Award. Honor their heroism and AHC will donate $10,000 to the winner's charity of choice. Go to ahctv.com/redbandana to nominate your hero today.
According to UFO researchers, evidence from deathbed confessions and prominent scientists indicates that UFOs may actually exist and suggests there may also be serious security implications. While there are many who do not believe there has been any alien contact or threat from UFO encounters, UFO investigators point to history and alternate readings of some of the world's most revered and sacred texts that may hold more ominous clues of possible alien contact. Many of the world's religions make reference to the end of times or a day of reckoning. Versions of Armageddon or Judgment Day are found in Christian, Jewish, and Islamic scriptures. Even ancient cultures like the Maya describe the return of star beings. Indigenous people of the American Southwest, like the Hobb, also tell of sky people returning to Earth to lift the tribe's faithful on the day of purification.
The return of the gods is a mythology with all religions all across the planet. I believe that we've been visited many, many times. We've been watched and observed, and I do believe that from time to time they do come back and they spread knowledge. Who are these gods? Are they extraterrestrial beings?
But is it possible, as some UFO researchers believe, that these ancient connections are not just proof that UFOs are real, but that there is an implicit warning to them?
If they do return, are they going to return in large numbers? Very likely that that's the case. And if they do, that means that all these prophecies that have been told throughout history are true.
People will try to relate this to the extraterrestrial reality, that the extraterrestrials are the gods and they're going to come back and there'll be a day of reckoning. You know, we are filled with one apocalyptic prophecy after another, after another, after another. This has been going on for thousands of years.
Other UFO researchers suggest that if extraterrestrials do exist, they're not coming back at all, because very likely they never left.
It's quite logical that any technologically advanced and high-minded extraterrestrial civilization would abide by something very much like the Prime Directive. It's the anthropological argument. You would want to study the human race, but not interact with them in such a way that would contaminate them as a society. It's no different from what anthropologists and scientists do every day here on planet Earth. Is it so hard to conceive that others might be doing something similar to us?
But what if one day UFOs do return or reveal themselves beyond what UFO researchers have pointed out?
It's interesting to speculate what would happen if suddenly there was a mass event, undeniable, UFOs hovering over major cities, a landing even. Is there an alien invasion war plan somewhere in government? Well, they say there isn't, but I'd find it inconceivable that someone somewhere hadn't thought, we'd better have a what-if plan.
Some UFO researchers believe a plan to combat an alien invasion does exist.
Undeniably, the U.S. government has rules of engagement for dealing with UFOs, whether you're an astronaut, in the space station, whether you're flying a space shuttle, or whether you're a fighter pilot. That there's definitely a policy towards dealing with interaction with alien beings.
We have a very limited ability to perceive our reality, all right? Our brains work in a certain way. It's like we're fish in a pond. Our pond is our space-time reality. But if there are beings that are able to understand our reality better than we do, that are able to enter and leave our space-time reality, as it were, then maybe that is part of the strangeness of this UFO phenomenon that we struggle to grasp, just by virtue of what we are as biological creatures inside these brains of ours.
There is a continuing drumbeat that is changing the global conversation about UFOs.
This is Discovery. We still have the alien spacecraft under influence.
Confessions and claims by noted officials and people of high scientific reputation are adding to this conversation.
I had the evidence. A crash did happen here. Of course, then I kept it closet for 35 years.
We watched 4 or 5 blue lights come down and completely surround this beam.
Perhaps these new revelations will bring us closer to the truth that UFOs do exist. As our quest to discover intelligent life continues, perhaps we'll realize another profound truth.
No estamos solos. No estamos solos,
that we have already been discovered by them.
hero to me is someone who doesn't give up.
Heroes Weekend starts right now on AHC. Brought to you by Firestone. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
UFO sightings are a relatively modern phenomenon, but there are those who have raised the question of ancient alien interaction. Now, recent discoveries suggest contact with UFOs likely occurred earlier in history than ever imagined.
Given that these are artifacts from ancient times, tells me that these are depictions of contact with an ancient visitor.
New evidence of ancient monuments built for the gods that descended from the sky.
Are the ancient Mayans trying to point to their own origins that could perhaps be extraterrestrial?
If any of this is true, this can only suggest that these really are talking about extraterrestrial visitors.
Why have governments all around the world been keeping secret their knowledge of ancient contact with ancient civilizations?
It's not simply that we're dealing with an inherently mysterious phenomenon. We are also dealing with government and military obfuscation and secrecy.
Did UFOs land on Earth several millennia ago and seed modern civilization?
What I see is an expression of the same concepts all across different cultures, all saying the same thing, which is that we came from somewhere else.
It goes to show you that these visitors have been here for a very, very long time.
New information is transforming what people believe about extraterrestrial spacecraft. Are UFOs really visiting our world? Is the government hiding the truth? And if so, could new archaeological evidence reveal the astonishing truth of ancient UFO Earth landings? March 25th, 2013, Mexico City. Here, in the most populated metropolitan area in the Western Hemisphere, government ministers declare publicly that they hold archaeological artifacts proving the reality of early contact between the ancient Maya and UFOs. Seen here for the first time on national television, the artifacts have been kept a closely guarded state secret for over 80 years. But why?
When one looks at the classic Mesoamerican civilizations, the Mayans, the Incas, it's interesting to note the recurrence of the idea of visitors from the stars, sky gods coming down, interacting with the people. This is a thread that runs through the narrative of these peoples, of these civilizations. Is this just story and myth? Or is it a retelling of something that actually happened?
These artifacts are very dramatic. And they show, in some cases, what looks like clear gray alien extraterrestrial and flying saucers. So I think we need to be very careful, find the true origin, and fact-check the heck out of it.
According to artifacts researcher Klaus Donna, the long-lost objects were found in a cave just north of Mexico City. But some in the Mexican Institute of Anthropology and History believe the artifacts were originally from the ancient Maya archaeological site of Calakmul. This once mighty city, dating to 600 AD, was possibly the largest Maya city with the tallest known pyramid in the Yucatan Peninsula.
So the earliest evidence of Maya we start seeing around 1500 BC. We're seeing denser populations of people that are starting to build monumental architecture, and that monumental architecture has certain signatures that we start seeing in other places throughout the Maya region. The greatest achievement for the Maya, in my opinion, would really be their writing system. No one else in the New World had that kind of writing system. That and their complex calendar system would be their greatest achievements.
Regarded by scholars as one of the most sophisticated civilizations in the ancient world, the Maya also mastered agriculture, engineering, and astronomy. Their calendars accurately track celestial events over decades. But did the Maya create this remarkably advanced civilization through their own ingenuity? Or is it possible, as some UFO researchers believe, the Maya acquired such knowledge from extraterrestrial beings that arrived in what we now call UFOs?
Some people look at civilizations like the Mayans and point to how advanced they were in areas such as mathematics and architecture. And they say, did these people have some help? Was their civilization somehow jump-started? This is an intriguing possibility, and again it all ties in perhaps to the ideas of gods coming from the skies, interacting with these people, sharing their sacred knowledge.
In fact, many UFO researchers believe the artifacts discovered in Mexico more than 80 years ago support the theory that the Maya not only experienced otherworldly visitation, but paid homage to their visitors through their artwork.
It's been suggested that many of these images come from the shamanic journey, that they come from things glimpsed in the shamanic trance, which are maybe based on some mixture of dream and imagination and reality, all mixed together. So is any of this alien? We don't know, but it's an intriguing mystery and worth further study.
But what if the artifacts reveal something more than a spiritual journey? What if, as UFO experts believe, they reveal actual contact with UFOs?
Now, looking at these things, they do look, for all the world, like a classical image of a flying saucer. They are disc-shaped, they seem to have a raised dome in the center, and there are strange patterns on them. Are they real or not? And if they're real, are they really showing extraterrestrial spacecraft?
One of them looks clearly like a flying saucer or some kind of flying craft. It's disc-shaped, it's got a classic UFO shape to it. It's definitely depicting something flying, even a landing gear or a ramp coming down off of it. To me, this is very strong evidence that we've been visited in the past by ancient visitors.
But, according to UFO researchers, one key question remains. Are these Maya artifacts authentic?
The fact that the government released these artifacts that clearly depict UFOs and some kind of advanced alien technology, that's kind of a big deal, because you don't necessarily have world governments that are willing to release physical evidence. But are they real? We don't know.
Although the concept of flying saucers or flying discs and their images only began in the mid-20th century, officials at the Mexican Institute of Anthropology and History have determined the artifacts predate flying saucer imagery by centuries.
The discs, they were found 80 years ago. 80 years ago, there was no such thing as a flying saucer. So whatever these objects are, they clearly existed 80 years ago, before there was any sort of flying saucer culture or TV interviews or any of these kinds of programs. So the idea that they're not authentic kind of blows up right there, because to me, clearly, if they were found and this is what they look like, it's now up to us to make a modern interpretation of what they were supposed to represent.
According to UFO researchers, evidence of extraterrestrial visitors found 60 miles farther south in the ancient city of Tikal is more difficult to dispute. Surrounded by dense rainforests, Tikal is believed to be the oldest urban center of the Maya civilization.
Tikal is located in northern Guatemala, very large site, covered about 7 or 8 square miles, about 50,000 people, earliest beginnings around 400 BC.
Evidence of astonishing Maya architectural and astronomical achievements can be found in what was once Tikal's Grand Plaza. 7 pyramids stand in perfect alignment and in the same geometric pattern as the Pleiades star cluster, which is visible to the naked eye.
For the Mayans to lay out their pyramids in the formation of the Pleiades constellation took great care and effort, and why would they do such a thing? It has to have been of great importance to them.
The Mayans actually say that they did this because this is where they come from, that they've actually come from the Pleiades, and they acknowledged it by the construction of these very unique pyramids on this site completely aligned with the Pleiades.
Mainstream scientists believe that such achievements in complex construction were made possible because of a unique and sophisticated number system developed by the Maya. But UFO researchers contend that even this was the result of contact with supernatural entities.
The Mayan, they say their gods come from the Pleiades, as do many other native cultures. The question becomes, not only where are they getting the information, but where are they getting the mathematical intellectual acuity? To me, it lends itself to extraterrestrial intelligences, either deeply connected with this civilization, or at least being visited by them to give them this information.
But perhaps the most compelling evidence of contact with UFOs at Tikal, say UFO experts, is this astonishing stone carving, known as the Tikal astronaut.
One stone figure found at Tikal is particularly intriguing. Now, some people might say that it just shows a representation of someone in a ceremonial headdress of some sort, but others look at it and say, wait a minute, that's an astronaut's helmet.
This Mayan figurine wearing what looks to me like an astronaut's helmet with breathing apparatus and kind of a pressure suit looks to me like an ancient visitor.
We have to pose the question, are these civilizations leaving a message here? Are the ancient Mayans trying to point to their gods? Are they trying to point to their own origins that could perhaps be extraterrestrial?
Could this ancient artifact represent a so-called sky god that traveled from the Pleiades star cluster, as UFO researchers believe? And if so, why has the Mexican government kept their knowledge of these artifacts secret for so long? Investigators believe further evidence, long hidden in the Mexican jungle, could finally provide proof of what the government has known all along about alien contact in the distant past.
It's our little differences that can make a world of difference. Expedia, everything in one place so you can travel the world better.
This program is brought to you in part by Polaris Razor. Fuel your freedom.
If you believe life starts where the blacktop ends, if the power of an engine makes your heart race, don't settle for anything less than Polaris Razor, the ultimate off-road vehicle. With unequaled power, unrivaled suspension, and unmatched agility, all perfectly combined to help you chase down what matters most. Polaris Razor, we fuel your freedom. And now's the time to get up to $2,000 cash back during the Polaris Spring Sales Event.
Bid escape with great deals on great gear from Bass Pro Shops. Like ladies' gathered V-neck shirts for under $10, Bass Pro canopy chairs for under $20, and shop hundreds of other great deals only at Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
Introducing the LG G6, the big screen that fits in your hand. Get 50% off the LG G6 at Sprint, plus a Google Home on us.
K&N Performance Air Intake Systems. For more airflow in, more horsepower out. Guaranteed.
They wanted to make Nazis all over the world fear their life.
Everything is like something out of a real vintage thriller.
You have to pay one day for the crime you committed.
Nazi Fugitives. All new series Tuesday, May 9th at 10 on AH.
I'm all about my bed.
This mattress is dangerously comfortable.
When I get in, I literally say,
Introducing the Lisa mattress. A better place to sleep.
This bed hugs my body.
I'm now a morning person.
The Lisa mattress is designed to provide strong support, relieve pressure, and optimize airflow to keep you cool.
Hello, bed of my dreams.
Order online. We'll build it, box it, and ship it to your door for you to enjoy. Sleep on it for up to 100 nights and love it, or you'll get a full refund. Shipping and returns are free and easy.
I love my Lisa.
Today is gonna be great.
Read our reviews, then try the Lisa mattress in your own home. Order now and get $75 off. Go to buylisa.com today.
You need this bed.
AHC, Heroes Make History.
After the 4 officers were found not guilty, rioters have taken to the streets in South Central LA.
The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC.
According to researchers, new archaeological evidence could reveal clues to the question of early man's interaction with UFOs. After withholding archaeological evidence for 80 years, the Mexican government has finally come forward with what many believe is proof of UFO contact with the ancient Maya.
What we've learned, and indeed continue to learn as we study, is that they were pretty advanced. Mathematics, astronomy, written language. How they acquired that knowledge is fascinating, but it's an unanswered question.
For UFO researchers, the answer lies in a fresh look at evidence long hidden in the mist-shrouded jungles of southern Mexico, at the Maya ruins of Palenque. Here, at one of the most important archaeological sites of the Americas, lies the Temple of Inscriptions. Inside, in 1952, archaeologists uncovered the burial tomb of Tikal the Great, a Mayan king who ruled in the 6th century AD.
His mother handed over the throne to him at the age of 12, and he ruled for the next 68 years. And that is the time that Palenque definitely has its renaissance. More buildings, more construction goes on during that time period. We also know that King Tikal lived to be 80 years old because we've done age analysis on his skeletal remains.
In addition to the king's remains, archaeologists discovered perhaps the most studied and controversial ancient Maya artifact, King Tikal's sarcophagus lid.
One of the impressive elements of Tikal has something to do with his sarcophagus, with this enormous lid, which measures about 4 meters by 3 meters, solid piece of limestone. And it has an image of Tikal himself being swallowed up by an earth monster as he's entering Xibalba. It's what they refer to as the underworld.
But UFO researchers believe King Tikal's sarcophagus lid represents something else entirely. Something they call the Maya astronaut.
Now, I'm a mechanical engineer. I worked in the aerospace industry for years. I see mechanical devices, some sort of modern technology being controlled and piloted by, I would assume, King Tikal. He's turning dials, he's operating guidance systems, there are foot pedals being used. Out of the back of this sort of rocket ship shape, there are flames coming out.
The sarcophagus of King Tikal, it shows a figure who looks for all the world as if he's actually in what can only be described as a space capsule. Now, is this image on the Palenque lid, as some believe, the Mayans' homage to their creator gods who came from the stars? Perhaps King Tikal believed that after death he would journey back to the stars himself, and his sarcophagus would be the vehicle in which he traveled.
There's been a lot of speculation that either King Tikal is deeply involved with extraterrestrials, or in fact he was an extraterrestrial himself. And the idea is that this lid was actually depicting him returning home after his death, returning back to the stars from whence he came.
This is very unique, and it has raised a lot of questions. Is in fact this king in some sort of oxygen chamber or perhaps some sort of space pod? We don't know, but it is an intriguing image.
We know that the Mayans have talked about sky gods and the technology that they used to come down to Earth and share their teachings. It goes to show you that these visitors have been here for a very, very long time.
Is King Pakal's sarcophagus lid the ultimate proof of UFO landings in the ancient past, as researchers believe? And why would the Mexican government be hiding this? According to UFO investigators, similar artifacts resembling astronauts have been found in other cultures all around the world. In Ecuador, South America, in a region once dominated by the ancient Inca people, UFO researchers have taken renewed interest in clay figures handcrafted around 1500 BC.
In Ecuador, you find these sculptures of what clearly appear to be beings in spacesuits. They have helmets, they have fully pressurized suits, they have boots on. So clearly what the Inca are reproducing the same things that the Mayans had already seen and already reproduced in their various artworks and sculptures.
If you compare it side by side, you can definitely see the similarities between modern-day astronauts. The helmet size, the whole layout of the suit, the belts, it looks like a pressure suit. And even it looks like it has some kind of apparatus on the back like our present-day astronauts would have. Given that these are artifacts from ancient times, what does that tell you? It tells me that these are depictions of contact with an ancient visitor.
In Ecuador, it's very hot, it's very humid, you don't wear a lot of clothes. The idea that they would wear some sort of ceremonial clothes that look exactly like a heavy pressurized spacesuit with a space helmet is pretty ludicrous. You wouldn't do that for any reason other than to commemorate, perhaps, something you'd seen somebody else wear, like perhaps one of your gods.
More strange artifacts have been unearthed halfway around the globe. In Japan, the ancient Jomon people, a civilization dating as far back as 1200 BC, created 12-inch clay figures known as the Dogu.
The Dogu figurines from Japan are interesting. Some people say that they are representations of extraterrestrials. There's no getting away from the fact that it's clearly not a literal representation of a human being, but does that mean that these people were carving visitors from the stars? We simply don't know.
Now, it seems to me what you're looking at is some sort of humanoid being in a pressurized suit, like a spacesuit. They have helmets, they have the wide, puffy sleeves like we're used to seeing on the Apollo astronauts. They even have the very large, sort of alien gray type of eyes on them. I mean, clearly, you're looking at some sort of extraterrestrial who is not able to survive in the atmosphere of the planet Earth without the assistance of this pressurized suit.
For modern man, depictions of men and women in spacesuits and alien beings with bulging eyes are images understood as normal in our everyday culture. But prior to the 1950s, researchers ask, how is it possible that ancient man was able to depict or even imagine beings that appear to be outfitted like modern astronauts? Like the evidence uncovered at Maya ruins, could these stone carvings represent our ancestors' spiritual beliefs or contact with otherworldly visitors?
They seem to be tied up with worship, but worship of what? Ancient gods? But what if those gods were visiting extraterrestrials?
Could this be evidence of ancient astronauts? We don't know, but when you have all of these references across continents through different cultures, and they're remarkably similar, one has to ask that question.
Something that's been passed down through history throughout the world. Different cultures that don't have any contact with each other share the same idea. I think that we've been visited on this planet for a very, very long time, and the ancient peoples have documented this visitation.
But if early man was aware of space travelers, as UFO researchers believe, is there a truth yet to be revealed about the exact nature of man's relationship with extraterrestrial beings?
It's time for the Can-Am Spring Fever sales event. Get a cash rebate of up to $3,000 on selected models, or get the Outlander L starting at $54.99. Visit your local dealer for details. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
This program is brought to you in part by Taltz.
When you're close to the people you love, does psoriasis ever get in the way of a touching moment? If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, you can embrace the chance of completely clear skin with Taltz. Taltz is proven to give you a chance at completely clear skin. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients had a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. In fact, 4 out of 10 even achieved completely clear skin. Do not use if you are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, you should be checked for tuberculosis. Taltz may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you are being treated for an infection or have symptoms, or if you have received a vaccine or plan to. Inflammatory bowel disease can happen with Taltz, including worsening of symptoms. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Now's your chance at completely clear skin. Just ask your doctor about Taltz.
Hey! Kevin Harvick. Changing your oil after 3,000 miles?
Yes.
If you'd use new Mobile One annual protection, you wouldn't have to. You protect your engine for 1 year with just one oil change.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Can I ask you a question? Why are you 3 inches tall?
Why aren't you 3 inches tall?
Don't change your oil. New Mobile One annual protection.
Liberty Mutual stood with us when a fire destroyed everything in our living room. We replaced it all without touching our savings.
Yeah, our insurance won't do that.
No.
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
When you see beautiful design, do beautiful work, you see what Delta can do.
At Crown Plaza, we know business travel isn't just business. There's this. A bit of this. Why not? Your hotel should make it easy to do all the things you do, which is what we do. Crown Plaza. We're all business. Mostly.
They wanted to make Nazis all over the world fear their life.
Everything is like something out of a real vintage thriller.
You have to pay one day for the crime you committed.
Nazi Fugitives. All new series Tuesday, May 9th at 10 on AHC.
AHC. Heroes make history.
After the 4 officers were found not guilty, rioters have taken to the streets in south central LA.
The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC. AHC and People Magazine honor everyday heroes with the Red Bandana Hero Award.
Chris Beatty is the very deserving recipient of the award here tonight.
Silver Canine's mission is we rescue and take donated dogs and we train them to be service dogs for wounded service members.
Nominate the hero in your life for the Red Bandana Hero Award. Honor their heroism and AHC will donate $10,000 to the winner's charity of choice. Go to ahctv.com/redbandana to nominate your hero today.
Searching for proof of ancient Earth landings by extraterrestrial beings. UFO researchers tracing the origin of the ancient Maya are taking a renewed look at evidence found in what many consider to be the oldest civilization of the Americas, the Olmec. Located 170 miles west of Palenque, near the Gulf of Mexico, the Olmec people thrived in an area known as La Venta.
The Olmec come about around 1400 BC. They exist in a pretty small area of the Gulf Coast in what's southern Veracruz today. Often the Olmec are referred to as the mother culture of Mesoamerica. But really, I think what that's referring to is they're the earliest state-level society to form in Mesoamerica. They're the first ones to start building monumental architecture, to start having a hierarchical government and that type of thing.
Olmec religion was just woven into all aspects of their culture. They knew the earth was round. There was a priestly caste who mediated between their gods, who they say came from the sky, and the Mayans borrowed heavily from that cosmology.
But while the Olmec dominated Central America for over 1,000 years, by 300 BC, the Olmec people seemed to mysteriously vanish from history. Why? UFO researchers believe artwork discovered here may provide clues to their fate, beginning with these artifacts of what is known as the Olmec bird monster.
We see with ancient art and ancient artifacts, if it mimics anything, it actually mimics the quetzal bird, which has an extremely long series of feathers. And when it flies through the air, it has these very long tail feathers that flap in the wind.
But UFO researchers disagree.
The Olmec bird monsters look exactly like modern-day delta-wing jet aircraft. You can even see on some of them the air intakes, they have tails, they have elevators, they have delta-wing-shaped airfoils. Clearly, they were trying to depict things that they saw in the sky, these air monsters that were actually probably aircraft that they simply didn't understand, they simply didn't know what they were looking at.
If you look at the Olmec bird monster, it really does look like a modern jet aircraft or a space shuttle. It's got all the features, the fuselage, the wings, the tail. I mean, it really could be almost exact representation of something more modern.
These things look like flying craft, almost like aircraft. They don't fit the perfect flying saucer type UFO, but it's definitely a flying machine. Back then they were thinking, this is some kind of bird, and it's so monstrous, it's a bird monster.
UFO researchers believe further clues to the fate of the Olmec can be found in other artifacts at La Venta, some depicting what is known as the Olmec dragon.
Is a fiery dragon, some sort of mythical sky creature, the only way in which somebody in an ancient culture could frame a description of what we would now call a spaceship? Some people have speculated that when you look at, for example, legends of dragons flying in the sky and breathing fire, that this is in fact how such ancient peoples described an extraterrestrial spacecraft, maybe with fiery exhaust coming out of the rear.
Is it possible the Olmec dragon and the bird monster could be primitive man's interpretation of fire-emitting spacecraft? Perhaps the most controversial depiction among the Olmec artwork is found on a sculpture known by archaeologists as Monument 19. It is the earliest known representation of the feathered serpent, a godlike figure known to both the Olmec and the Maya.
Monument 19 is just a depiction of a warrior wearing a helmet, and he's with the feathered serpent, which is a deity all across Mesoamerica. And the fact that he has that little kit, maybe what that's symbolizing is this person is heading off into the afterlife.
For investigators, however, Monument 19 is regarded as evidence suggesting that there really was contact with UFOs in the ancient past.
Monument 19 at La Venta shows what many people believe is a representation of a human figure in a spaceship of some sort. Again, there's what seems to be machinery. I mean, it really does look like something that's been constructed.
I think that the feathered serpent is an analogy for some sort of flying craft that they saw. But there's actually a man inside of it. He's wearing a helmet, a pressure suit of some kind, and he's also carrying a bag that looks a little bit like a purse, but it also bears a really striking resemblance to an environmental systems pack like the astronauts carried before they would get on the space shuttle or before that they would get on the Apollo mission.
It looks like the figure is actually moving levers, has some kind of apparatus on its head, maybe some breathing gear. Definitely not something that you would see someone doing, 5,000 years ago.
Anything that flew to the Olmec would have been feathered, so it would have been some sort of bird. So again, it appears that they are depicting exactly what they saw, which is a pilot of a feathered serpent, an aircraft, a high-altitude aircraft, spacecraft of some type, that probably wore one of these pressurized suits with a helmet and an environmental control package.
According to UFO researchers, the idea that ancient people could imagine a travel scenario that would require a helmet and environmental protection is significant evidence in and of itself. did the ancients really believe they were going someplace entirely different and hazardous for their health? More to the point, from who or what were ancient civilizations getting the inspiration for such artwork over 3,000 years ago? For UFO experts, the only possible answer lies in ancient contact with extraterrestrial beings in the distant past.
It's just a natural, logical conclusion based on the visual evidence. I tend to think that things are exactly what they appear to be.
The artifacts discovered among the ruins of the Maya, the Olmec, crafted by early Japanese, and ancient Incas, all going back thousands of years, is this evidence of contact with UFOs? What if we look at man's earliest known civilization, the Sumerians? Are there connections to alien life there as well? And what stunning revelations might those connections reveal about the very origins of mankind?
After the 4 officers were found not guilty, rioters have taken to the streets in South Central LA.
You're watching aerial footage of the streets of LA on fire. The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC.
Someday, Daddy, I want to get married right here in our backyard.
Advanced technology. Durability. Adorability. And baby softness. Maybe not. It takes a lot to save a galaxy, but most of all it takes, confidence. That's why there's Hanes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. It's the smart way to stay fresh enough to take on the whole stinking universe. Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in theaters May 5th.
I thought I was managing my moderate to severe Crohn's disease. I didn't think there was anything else to talk about. But then I realized there was. So I finally broke the silence with my doctor about what I was experiencing. He said Humira is for people like me who've tried other medications but still experience the symptoms of moderate to severe Crohn's disease. In clinical studies, the majority of patients on Humira saw significant symptom relief, and many achieved remission.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
If you're still just managing your symptoms, talk with your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, remission is possible.
Crisp, cold refreshment. It's what Bush is known for. What are you known for?
Oversharing. In fact, I have this thing. Nope.
Bush. What to consider when considering home security?
This isn't just a yard sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, my family and everything I've worked hard for. And on the other, an uncertain world. I only want one company by my side, ADT.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT 24/7 protection starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven. ADT. Always there.
We have the Bigfoot. Look here, something big went down through there. The woman of the woods.
Did you see that? Hey! What was that?
And now,
what now?
The black wolf.
Mountain Monsters. All new Saturday at 10 on Destination America.
Hey, what's up? It's Adam Devine. I'm hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards. It's gonna be awesome.
Adam Devine hosts the MTV Movie and TV Awards live Sunday, May 7th at 8 on MTV.
I'm Josh Gates. On an all-new Expedition Unknown, I'm preparing for an awesome adventure.
Is the Tasmanian tiger still out there? Eyewitnesses are coming forward.
That is a print. The lake of gold that hides a box of treasure.
It's a box. I see a box.
D.B. Cooper, the only unsolved skyjacking in history.
That was the scariest and the coolest thing I have done.
So get ready for an incredible adventure. All new Expedition Unknown, Wednesday at 9 on Travel Channel.
It's Adam Devine, and I'm hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards. I'm sorry, that sounded weak.
I'm hosting the MTV Movie.
The MTV Movie and TV Awards live Sunday, May 7th at 8 on MTV.
Wherever you are in the world, we will come and get you.
They wanted to make Nazis all over the world fear their life.
Are we going to kidnap him, or are we going to do something quite different? And the most horrendous fight takes place. Everything is like something out of a real vintage thriller.
You have to pay one day for the crimes you committed.
Nazi Fugitives. All new series Tuesday, May 9th at 10 on AHC.
After looking back over thousands of years to find evidence of man's interaction with ancient extraterrestrials, UFO researchers are now going all the way back to the world's earliest known civilization, the Sumerians, dating to 6000 BC. Located in the southernmost part of Mesopotamia, an area often called the cradle of civilization.
Mesopotamia is really the area between the Tigris and Euphrates river valleys. The area stretches from portions of Syria all through Iraq and a little bit into Kuwait. Very rich, fertile area where some of the earliest agriculture in the world came about.
The Sumerians really were the first human civilization. This really marked the transition from hunter-gatherer societies to societies with much more sophistication, who wrote down in written language, who constructed cities.
The Sumerians are also well known for the construction of pyramid-like structures known as ziggurats.
Ziggurats are just large monumental constructions that the elite would use for a multitude of purposes, for living quarters, to conduct ceremonies, and things of that nature. They're built over a long period of time, like most temples are.
Although religious scholars believe the ziggurats were used mostly for spiritual purposes, is it possible these massive temples served a very different purpose?
When you look at these ziggurats, they have a huge, solid base and a flat top, and then you've got this thing rising up. I mean, it's vast. It's easy to look at them and say, well, this is reminiscent of a landing pad. You can imagine something coming down and landing on the top of this thing. I mean, it's visible from the sky. Somebody flying in could see it from a long way off, could navigate by it, and then land on the top of it.
If ziggurats were in fact used as navigational sites, or even landing pads, for incoming alien craft, as most UFO researchers believe, is it inconceivable that primitive man would mistake otherworldly beings for star gods?
For me, it's hard not to come to the conclusion that there was some technology that was witnessed, or maybe even experienced. And I think for early human beings, their technology was magic to us. And this is why these beings were worshipped as gods.
If you're an ancient, primitive human culture, and you see these extraterrestrials come in on fiery sleds or fiery shields, rockets, landing near your village and coming out of their spacecraft and displaying all this incredible technology, there's no way you're going to look at them as anything but gods who can manipulate the physical universe in ways that you hadn't even thought of before that.
But what can explain why such similar pyramid structures are found in ancient sites throughout the world?
Pyramids in Egypt, pyramids in Mexico, pyramids in Bosnia. There are alleged pyramids in China. We need to look into these more. If there is a series of pyramid creations around the world, we need to understand why that is so, and if there's some kind of culture that is related to all of them. Maybe it's a coincidence. But pyramid structure does seem to be a recurrent one, more than we have realized in ancient human history.
The simple fact is that pyramids are extremely expensive to design, construct, and effectively create, and yet all around the world we see these beautifully precise, incredibly calculated pyramidal structures, and they may not look exactly alike, but they all have the same function. They all have mathematical alignments with the stars, the sun, the moon. They're all meant to serve a certain purpose, and what I see is an expression of the same concepts, the same scientific ideas, all across different cultures, all saying the same thing, which is that we came from somewhere else.
Mainstream scientists offer few clues about how ancient cultures arrived upon the mathematical knowledge and engineering skill necessary to build these precise structures at such an early stage of human evolution. Even more astonishing, how could ancient cultures separated across time and vast distances with no means of communication build pyramids so similar to those first built in Sumer? The odds of these separate cultures arriving at the same evolutionary point intellectually are remarkably slim, according to UFO researchers, which leads them to believe that the knowledge was spread by what we call unidentified flying objects.
Not only are we seeing pyramids in Sumer, but we are seeing them all over the world, and they are very similar structures. Was there some extraterrestrial intelligence perhaps giving information or guiding these civilizations to build objects that are very similar?
For this knowledge to be spread throughout the world, it had to have some kind of help, and that help would be star visitors with UFO technology.
Obviously, we can only speculate about what happened millennia ago in relation to alien visitation, but the evidence is intriguing and ought not to be dismissed out of hand.
If UFOs really are here, it's absolutely logical to think that they've probably been here for thousands of years. So it makes sense that if we're seeing it today and it really is a phenomena connected to aliens, then I'm guessing they probably saw it thousands of years ago as well.
Does the evidence suggest that the Sumerian ziggurats and other pyramids all around the world were really used as landing sites for ancient UFOs? And if, as some mainstream scholars admit, questions still exist about the origin of life on Earth, is it possible that otherworldly beings had a hand in seeding mankind?
I definitely think that UFOs planted the seed for the expansion and the transformation of our life as human beings. I think this is where our religions come from.
According to investigators, the translations of ancient Sumerian tablets may actually reveal the true origin of man.
After the 4 officers were found not guilty, rioters have taken to the streets in South Central LA.
The mayor has declared a state of emergency.
LA riots, as we watched, next Sunday at 10 on AHC.
Whether you work hard or play harder, now is the time to buy a new Polaris. Every ATV and side-by-side in the world's best-selling lineup is priced to move during the Polaris Spring Sales Event. Get started at Polaris.com.
ChoiceHotels.com. Bada book, bada boom.
That's it?
He means book direct at ChoiceHotels.com for the lowest price on our rooms guaranteed. Plus, earn free nights and instant rewards at check-in.
Yeah, like I said.
Book now at ChoiceHotels.com.
Hit Escape with great deals on great gear from Bass Pro Shops. Like ladies' gathered V-neck shirts for under $10. Bass Pro canopy chairs for under $20. And shop hundreds of other great deals only at Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
Why pause a spontaneous moment? Cialis for daily use treats ED and the urinary symptoms of BPH. Tell your doctor about your medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have a sudden decrease or loss of hearing or vision or an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis.
Oh no! Your shower drain is clogged, your bathroom pipe is plugged, and the odor coming from the sink is embarrassing. Stop drain clogs and stinky sinks with SaniSticks, the concentrated drain cleaning and sanitation sticks that you drop in the drain once a month, where they dissolve over time to stop backups, clogs, and nasty odors. Drop in a SaniStick once a month in the kitchen sink, bathroom sinks, utility room sink, bathtub drains, mop sinks, and anywhere you want to keep water flowing without plugged pipes and embarrassing odors. Available at these fine retailers.
We are navigating pregnant life.
Are you guys going to find out if you're having an LP?
No parent wants to hear that their child is different.
But to me, that's not different. He's just like me.
Little People, Big World returns Tuesday at 9 on TLC.
Every home is unique. That's why I rely on science. You called about termites?
Come on in.
Got it. How long have they been doing this?
Since they felled them. Hey, where'd you see that termite? By the woodpile.
Oh, those logs can attract termites. Don't worry. Using research from our entomologists, I'll create a termite protection plan that's not only backed by Orkin, but backed by science.
She's bobbing the log, you know what I mean? You bob that log, Candace!
TrueCar is great for finding new cars. You're smart, you already knew that. But it's also great for finding the perfect used car. You'll see what a fair price is, and you can connect with a TrueCar certified dealer. Now you're even smarter. This is TrueCar.
Does your child need help with digestive balance? Try a Lyme Junior probiotic so she can have a fraction-dominating, status-updating, hello yellow belt kind of day. Get 24/7 digestive support with a Lyme Junior, the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand, also for kids.
They wanted to make Nazis all over the world fear their life.
Everything is like something out of a real vintage thriller.
You have to pay one day for the crime you committed.
Nazi Fugitives. All new series Tuesday, May 9th at 10 on AHC. AHC and People Magazine honor everyday heroes with the Red Bandana Hero Award.
Chris Beatty is the very deserving recipient of the award here tonight.
Timber K9's mission is we rescue and take donated dogs and we train them to be service dogs for wounded service members.
Nominate the hero in your life for the Red Bandana Hero Award. Honor their heroism and AHC will donate $10,000 to the winner's charity of choice. Go to ahctv.com/redbandana to nominate your hero today.
While investigating the history of ancient UFO contact, investigators discover the stunning idea that early UFOs may not just be about contact, but about the beginning of the human species. And they say the evidence lies along the eastern bank of the Tigris River, in what was once known as Upper Mesopotamia, now modern-day Iraq, in the ruins of the great Sumerian city of Nineveh. Here, in 1849, British archaeologist Austin Layard discovers ancient clay tablets, 30,000 of them, dating back an estimated 6,000 years.
What they depicted was really the origin of one of mankind's greatest achievements, which is the written word. They contained what's now known as the Sumerian cuneiform text. The cuneiform itself was a very intricate text that was actually pressed into the wet clay to create an impression, and at first it was considered just decoration by the scholars until they figured out that it was actually